I started my coaching business 2 years ago, and since then it grew to 6 figures and requires only a couple hours a week to run. And this has enabled me to spend more time with my family, my newly born son, and have a flexible schedule and an income coming in almost on autopilot. But it wasn't always like that. When I started it, I only had a couple social media followers, mostly my mom and a couple of friends, a new YouTube channel, and basically no traction at all. In fact, in the first year, I worked about 60 hours a week just to realize that in the end of the year, all I did was lose $8,000 in my business. You can see here, it's in Slovenian because I'm from Slovenia, but here I lost yearly total $8,660. So I lost $8,000, and it was pretty hard to watch that. Now, in this video, I'm going to show you how I'd start my coaching business today if I had to start over, so you can avoid the mistake that cost me $8,000 in the first year and do it in a way where I never have to work a 60-hour week. I already automated from the beginning. Now, I would do it in 3 steps, and I'm going to show you what these 3 steps are. And if you do every one of these steps correctly, your business should make money and you shouldn't have to spend a lot of time on it. So let's go into the first step. So the first step is opening the market faucet. Now, just a little bit of backstory. When I started out my business, I couldn't make any money and I didn't know why I couldn't sell. And I was looking for the problem in my business, right? I was looking at the offer, maybe the offer is wrong. I was looking at the banner, the profile pic, the logos, maybe the website is the problem. Maybe that I don't have a website is a problem, or maybe I need to do this special thing this coach is selling me. And I was hoping that by fixing all of these things and tinkering with my business, that somehow more clients would come in. But when I messaged a coach, Michael, I hired at the time, he was an outreach coach. He just said, he asked me basically, okay, how many messages are you sending a day? And I was like, I'm sending 10 messages a day. This is 50 messages a week. This is 200 messages a month. And he was like, okay, man, you're not sending enough messages at all. And I was like, what? Like 200 messages a month is a lot of messages. And I asked him, how much are you sending? And at the time, he already had a 6-figure business from it. And he said, I'm sending 200 messages a day. And I was like, okay. I realized that the main problem that I had is thinking that I did enough, whereas I should have done a lot more volume. Now, the first thing that I realized at that time is the offer, the banner, the profile pic, the logos, none of this was the actual problem. The problem was my client acquisition system. So every business has a client acquisition system, which is basically a way of getting clients to that business. And your client acquisition system is basically like a faucet plugged into a barrel. Now, what this means is when you open up a faucet plugged into a barrel, more water flows out into whatever you want the water to go in. Let's say it's a glass of water, right? If you close up the faucet, less water flows out. Now, imagine the barrel being the market and the faucet being your client acquisition system. If you keep the faucet closed, meaning if you keep your volume closed low, water is not going to flow out in your glass, in your business. So the clients, the prospects in the barrel, in the market, are not going to go through the faucet into your glass, into your business. If you open up the faucet, if you do more volume, more of the prospects that could buy from you will flow out into your business, and that way your business will grow. Now, how do you actually open up the faucet? I realized basically there's 3 ways of doing it. One is outreach, one is organic traffic, and one is paid traffic. Now, I won't go into detail of how you can use each one in this video. You can check out my other videos. But in the beginning, I started out with outreach and organic traffic on YouTube and on LinkedIn. Now, we mostly just do YouTube, LinkedIn, and paid traffic. So, meta ads. But you might ask yourself like, okay, Matt, you have to do more volume, but what if I have the wrong offer and nobody responds? Even in that case, the answer is more volume, because if you get more no's, you can ask more people why they said no, and you get information of why your offer isn't like attractive. And that way you can fix it in the next couple messages or whatever you do in the next couple of videos. You're gonna get better responses, and you can keep doing that loop, like get feedback, fix more, get feedback, fix more, and that way your offer becomes a lot better, a lot faster than if you'd be doing less volume. So even if you try to nail any one of these things, offer, ban, or whatever, still volume is the answer. Now, even if you get thousands of people to see your offer, but nobody trusts you enough to buy, you're not going to grow your business enough, because you basically have a leaky glass of water. Your glass of water is leaking. You can drive as many prospects into it, but without catching them, without having the trust to catch them, they're just going to go out before you can even close them. So the next step that I would focus on if I was starting my business today is building trust. Now, there's an interesting study done by Google a couple years ago, which basically studied how customers and clients are getting acquired on social media. And what they realized is that on average, for a person to buy from you, they have to spend 7 hours with you on 11 separate times in 4 different locations. And they called this the 7-11-4 rule. Now, what this means in online terms is a person, on average, in order for a person to buy from you, they have to watch 7 hours of your content on 11 separate times, so 11 separate posts in 4 different platforms. Now, there is some leeway in this rule, so some people are going to buy right away, some people are going to take a really long time, but the point is, the more content you have online and the more it's bingeable and the more time they spend with you, the easier for them it will be to buy. Now, the main problem when I saw this study was, well, I'm posting on LinkedIn, I'm doing outreach. How can I possibly get them to read 7 hours of my post? And I did some calculations, and it came out to be 840 LinkedIn or Instagram posts, if you presuppose that they're going to take about 30 seconds to read your post, which means I have to post every day for 2 to 3 years to get to the 7 hours. And the thing is, most people will never go through all of my LinkedIn posts. So LinkedIn, Instagram, short form platforms, really hard to get to the 7 hours. Versus if I do YouTube videos, to get to 7 hours, I have to do about 21 YouTube videos. This presupposes that a YouTube video is about 20 minutes long. So I have to do 21 YouTube videos, which means post 1 per week for 5 months, and that's it. And you know, if you watch YouTube, you know that when you find a channel that is interesting and has one good video, you watch the next one and the next one and the next one and the next one, and before you know it, you're interested in what they're selling, you're interested in what they have to offer, how they can help you out, because YouTube is made in a way that gets people to fall into rabbit holes, and it's much more powerful in that way than LinkedIn or Instagram or any other social platforms where you never watch like a 1-year-old post from a guy on Instagram. Like, you can ask yourself, when is the last time you went to the feed, Instagram feed, and just scrolled down 1 year in the past and watched a piece of content from there? It's like, it doesn't happen. On YouTube, you watch 2-year-old videos all the time. So when I realized this, I started posting on YouTube, and YouTube has been one of the biggest drivers of business in our business. And the best part is, this is what I realized later, when a person watches a YouTube video of yours, YouTube keeps recommending other videos to them. So it keeps them in the loop, and it opens up the faucet, the client acquisition faucet, the organic traffic faucet. An example of that is Austin, one of our clients. Austin started posting about a year ago and grew a big YouTube channel in the no-code automation niche, getting about 400,000 views, 5,000 subscribers, and building a community of over 1,000 people by now already. And the thing is, if we look at one of these YouTube videos, you can see that this YouTube video is already like 300 days old, and it's still getting more and more views, bringing more people into his community and more people to become his clients. So this is the biggest thing about YouTube. On other platforms, when you post, your post gets recommended for a day and then disappears. On YouTube, even years down the line, your videos still get recommended and still drive traffic to your videos. And if you stack enough of those videos into that, you just have an infinite amount of traffic. But there was a point in my business where I was posting on YouTube consistently. I was generating trust, I was generating traffic, but it all took just way too much energy. It was like I spent about 10 to 20 hours per YouTube video to make it. And then I also had to do daily LinkedIn posts and outreach and Instagram and shorts and everything. So the third step that I focused on, especially in the last year, is to make everything no-brainer easy. Now, let's imagine there's 2 people building a house. One is building it by hand, figuring it out as he goes. Also colors every brick before laying it out, and make sure that every brick is like really smooth, and they kind of smooth it out and really take care of each brick before they layer it and actually make it into a house. The other one uses the right tools, the right processes, and only does the stuff that matters. So he doesn't do the coloring because he knows the colors would go over the bricks. He doesn't do the smoothing because he can smooth out the whole building once it is built. And which one of these guys will build a house faster? It'll probably be the guy who has a system where he can throw out 100 bricks an hour and just build a house, than a guy who can throw out 7 perfect bricks an hour but needs like a year to do it. So what's the main difference in focus between these two people? The one who will build a house faster focuses on the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule. So the 80-20 rule, the Pareto principle, basically states that whenever there's a certain effort, 80% of the results come from 20% of actions, and the other 20% of the results come from the 80% of unnecessary actions. And same in my business, I saw the biggest leaps when I focused on the 20% of actions that made 80% of the results, and this usually resulted in making more money with less effort and less time invested. Now, by the way, we have a system we use to grow our business from 0 to 6 figures. It's called the 3-hour YouTube lead system, and basically shows you exactly how to grow on YouTube in less than 3 hours per week, make money from it fast, and get clients with it mostly on autopilot once you set it up. You can get it in the description below, but otherwise, let's go forward with the video. The system will basically show you the 20% of actions that you need to get 80% of the results on YouTube and for YouTube to grow your business. Now, you might be interested in growing on YouTube, but you might also think YouTube is too saturated to enter in 2025, and if I do, nothing's gonna happen. And that is just not true. YouTube is actually on easy mode for online business owners right now, and it's the reason people like Michael, my first coach, which then also became a client, are making $500,000 plus a year with their businesses, getting only 50 to 100 views a video. And the reason why Austin, on the other hand, has been able to grow this massive YouTube channel, driving a bunch of people to his communities and his offers, basically on autopilot, it's because YouTube is on easy mode for online business owners. So in the next video, I'm gonna show you why that is and how you can capitalize on it so you can grow your YouTube channel and your business in 2025 too. I'll see you in the next video, and have a nice day. Bye.